Good afternoon. I wanted to start this week's Profit Maximizer webs. Man, problem with live. Sometimes my mouth doesn't keep up with my brain. Let's try again. Good afternoon. This is Wayne Bilal with this week's Smart Profit Maximizer moment. See, I can do it. Anyways, I've been getting a lot of calls this last week to 10 days about employers and whether they have to pay sick pay for their employees that are quarantined or quarantined due to COVID-19, or actually have missed are sick because of being out on COVID-19. So first, take care of yourself. It's out there. In the El Paso area in particular, I can tell you we're getting hit a lot harder right now than we were in the spring when everything was shutting down. In truth, I think we shut down way too early. So the answer, well, yes, sadly, all right, in most cases, yes. Okay, what we're talking about is the FFCR, which was the CARES Act. Everybody knows that. The CARES Act put some provisions in there, and regulations have come out that clarify it, that clarify the small business exemption, that require even small businesses under 500 to pay sick leave. Now, it's limited, all right? It's up to 2 weeks of the Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act, and provides eligible employees up to 2 weeks of paid sick leave, all right? So there is an exemption possibly for employers with fewer than 50 employees. We'll get into that later. But let's talk about that now. And also, there's some good news. If you are required to pay it, there's a credit where you can get that money back. We'll talk about that. That's important. So there's some good news on this, not just bad news. So first thing, like I said, take care of yourself, man. You might need to change. We're doing, I had 2 appointments today that I set up to do through Zoom rather than meet in person because it's just really hitting pretty hard. All right. Paid sick leave, they're talking 6 different reasons that you have to cover. First, paid sick leave is available if employees are unable to work because they are subject to federal, state, or local COVID-19 quarantine or isolation orders. So technically in El Paso, every restaurant that closed down, or bar or whatever reason, hair salon, technically you have to pay them because it's under a government isolation order. The regulation clarifies that but there's an exception, so listen. The regulations that were issued clarify that this qualification applies to employees who cannot work or telework due to shelter-in-place orders. However, leave is only available if the employer has work for them to do. This has caused a lot of confusion. So if I'm shut, I don't have work for you, I don't have to pay you. But if I'm open, or if they can work from home, then yeah, I do need to pay them. So in reality, this first one, not much effect, I'll be honest with you, all right? If my employees are all forced to stay home and all my customers' employees are forced to stay home, then I don't really need my own employees. So let's skip that one. But the second reason for paid sick leave is employees are unable to work because they've been advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine for a reason related to COVID-19, even if they are not displaying symptoms at the time. The third reason for paid sick leave is when the employee is experiencing symptoms of COVID-19 and is seeking a medical diagnosis. The fourth reason, I apologize, I got to read these because I'll never remember them all. The fourth reason for paid sick leave applies when employees are unable to work because they need to care for someone who is either A, subject to a federal, state, or local quarantine or isolation order, or has to care for somebody who has been advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine. This reason only applies if the need to care for an individual and the employee would be able to work, and the employee would be able to work if it would not apply if the employer does not have work for the employee. So all of these are pretty much the same. If you don't have work, you don't really have to cover it. The person being cared for must also be subject to federal, state, and local quarantine orders and has been advised the healthcare provider to self-quarantine based on the belief that he has COVID-19. The fifth reason for paid sick leave applies when the employee is unable to work because they need to care for a son or daughter if the child's school or place of care is closed, or B, the child care provider is unavailable for COVID-19 related reasons. As before, the employee must be able to work, but for the need to care for their son or daughter. So the leave would not apply if the employer has no work for the employee. So that's key. You're out of this if you don't have the work, okay? You also need to be taking care of them. It can't be somebody else, like both spouses are staying home. No, that won't work, okay? The sixth reason that's listed is for paid sick leave to apply is if the employee is unable to work because they're experiencing any other substantially similar conditions specified by the Secretary of Health. So far, no such condition has been identified, so I guess we can kick that one out. How much are you allowed to pay? Well, it's a 2-week period. There are a number of hours that each up to 80 hours. A full-time employee is entitled to up to 80 hours of paid sick leave, and a part-time employee is entitled to the number of hours that such employee works on average over a 2-week period. The maximum is $511 per day, up to $5,110. All right. Let's talk about the eligibility. I'm trying to find something. Let me find the part I want to find. I apologize. Well, I didn't pick it up. That's why. Okay, let's talk about. Everybody's heard in the law. It talked about if you couldn't pay them. All right. So, but the act basically says with fewer than 50 employees from having to provide paid sick leave or expanded family and medical, I'm not going to go into that. If doing so would jeopardize the viability of the business as a going concern. The regulations that explain this said that this exception applies when such leave would cause small employers' expenses and financial obligations to exceed available business revenue and cause small employer to cease operation at a minimal capacity. At the absence of the employer or employees requesting such leave would pose a substantial risk to the financial health, or the small employer cannot find enough other workers who are willing to do it. All right. Like everything else, employers using this exemption should not send supporting material or documents to the Department of Labor, but you better have documentation, because if your employees say, hey, I was supposed to get this, and believe me, they're all finding out about it, and you're not giving it to me, and they file a claim with the Department of Labor, you need to be able to back up saying, man, at that time, because they're going to come a year or two from now, maybe 6 months from now, where you're doing better, hopefully, and but you're going to have to be able to prove that at that time you were not able to. And the easiest way is I didn't have money in a bank account. I had no customers coming in. Remember, though, there's a couple of exceptions here. This one, if you're doing all right, probably isn't going to apply. It might, so make sure you have it. The other exception is you just didn't have any work, okay? Now, I said I had some good news. Let me see, make sure I covered it. Okay. I thought so. Let me make sure before I get to the good news that I didn't have anything else. Yeah, never mind. All right, so, okay, you paid the sick leave. Where's the good news in this? All right. I did it in my course quite a while back. Inside the COVID-19 relief bill, there was all of a sudden I can't put my hands on it. Here we go. Paid sick leave payroll tax credit. Pretty important, okay? I already covered the reasons. Let's see. The Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act requires that you provide an employee with paid sick time to the extent the employee is unable to work or telework due to the need to care, and I already listed all the reasons. I should have read this one. This one was simpler. But what you get from it, and let me see if I can pick it up far enough. Okay, here we go. All right. Wow, I apologize. Give me a second. I must have went right by it. Employee retention credit, paid sick leave payroll tax credit. The emergency requires you to, okay. For paid sick leave, employee paid up to the maximum COVID. Your credit includes, okay. What basically happens is I get a dollar for dollar credit on my 941 up to the $511, all right, per day, so up to $5,110. I apologize, I had it right here, and then all of a sudden I can't find it. What basically happens then is that I can get that money back dollar for dollar, and some of it is refundable, all right, on your 941. So let's say I have to pay $1,000 in health care. In family leave. When I do my 941, I can apply for it and get the oh man, I wish I could find it, because I just read this to somebody and I must have put it back wrong. But I can get it right off the top from my straight from my 941. Now on the flip side, not a big deal, because I know the law. I just wanted to read it particularly. So what can happen is, when I do my 941, I reduce my payroll taxes that I owe. And part of it, and it's kind of a long calculation, if you're going to do it yourself, what I would do is, there's a worksheet 1 that goes with the 941, and you can get it from the IRS. Just type in 941 worksheet 1, credit for qualified sick and family leave wages, all right? And it walks you right through how to do it, and how much you get to deduct. It's a little complicated, so I'd get somebody to help you, because part of it is considered non-refundable and part of it is considered refundable. Basically how it works, it's up to the amount of your Medicare and Medicare and Social Security. Yeah, all right. So you put that in there. You need to have backup, like I said. So the nice thing is, if I paid the $1,000, I'm going to get a $1,000 refund when I do my 941. Now, I can request it early with a Form 7200, which you can request the money to be sent to you, but I haven't had much luck with that yet. I'll be honest, we filed a couple and it just hasn't worked. Another thing to look out for, though, this went into effect in March. So if you had somebody that you paid sick leave to after the date this went into effect, for both until now, for the, let's say, April, May, June, July, August, September, and the return's already been filed, then you can have it amended to get your money back on that. So in a nutshell, yes, you need to pay them, but the government's going to give you the money back. All right. So what we're stuck with is a little bit more bookkeeping and some cost to get the payroll tax return done. Warning, whoever's doing your payroll tax returns, if you're not using somebody that knows the law real well, or if you use an ADP or Paycheck or somebody like that, QuickBooks Payroll, they got it. They understand it. You still need to tell them, because otherwise they won't know. But they got it and they know how to handle it. But I've been having a lot of trouble with smaller bookkeeping firms. The payroll 941 hasn't changed in 20, 30 years. And you add some lines, and for whatever reason, they're not paying attention to finding out what's going on. So it's up to you as the business owner, as always, to make sure you know what's going on. Hey, until next time, this is Wayne Belial saying, let's make this our most profitable year ever, and let's be safe out there, okay? Make sure that you really pay attention to what take responsibility to try to keep yourself safe and your employees and your family safe. Hey, until next time, like I said, have a good day.